Hi, this week I wanted to demonstrate my parallel clamp I've been building. Set in pieces. The good news is that I've identified at least two new weaknesses and I can beef that up and redesign it so it's easier to make. The downside is that the means is not ready this week, as I only broke it yesterday. The Wood Night is sponsored by I Would Like. Instead, this week we're going to make bench bolts. You can buy these from Veritas or from Benchcrafted, but in Australia they'd be over $50 each. The Veritas one's $50 plus shipping. They have a shorter bolt than what this does. The Veritas ones are 6 inches, so 150 mil. These are 200 mil, so 8 inches. And the nut itself is significantly smaller on the Veritas one. All up, the material for this, including delivery, cost me $25, and it just requires a little bit of work to make it, well, work. So if you haven't seen it, there's nothing particularly special about bench bolts. It's a regular bolt and a special connector. This is very similar to connectors that you'll find, or nuts that you'll find in a lot of knockdown furniture, except it's scaled up. This is a M12 bolt, so you could use 1/2 inch. And this is 40 by 25 mil, so 1 inch by 1.5-ish inches. You place the nut portion in the stretcher. The bolt goes through the leg and it allows you to create a knockdown workbench, which is what we'll be creating in a few months' time, if not sooner. For the nuts, I'm using some aluminium round bar. It was 300 mil long. That was the shortest piece I could get. I only need about 160 mil for my 4 pieces. 1 inch diameter, or 25 mil, 25.4 mil, and that's important to note for later on. And I just need to do some layout. So I've got my caliper set to 40 millimeters. That's where I'll be cutting it off. I want to drill a hole that'll be tapped halfway through there, so that's 20 millimeters there. So now we can take that over to the drill press, drill that out, then tap it. I've got the lathe set to about 650 RPM. It's held down in a vise, which is then held to the table. Drop or 2 of cutting fluid. I don't know if I need cutting fluid with aluminium, but I can't think it would hurt. 6 mil bit, and then I'll step up to the correct size. For tapping an M12 thread, you're going to need an M12 tap, or 1/2 inch if you're doing imperial. And to drill that to get the correct size of the teeth, you should use a 10.2 millimeter drill bit. Now I don't have a 10.2 millimeter drill bit, but I do have a slightly undersized 10.5 mil drill bit, which is actually 10.4 millimeters because it's a cheap bit. And the result is that the threads won't be, they'll be a little bit undersized threads, or a little bit loose, I suppose. So this was a test piece I did. It fits fine. There's actually very little play in it, probably less than any bolts I've ever bought, or nuts I should say. So it may not be perfect, but it's perfectly strong, even if it's slightly undersized. It's too much like work. Okay, so I've put together a pretty dodgy example of how it would go together. but it demonstrates it well enough. I didn't drill these particularly straight, I was just freehanding the whole lot. The pine's not straight and it's also really badly cut pine, so it was whatever scrap I had. Bolt goes through, this would be the leg, this would be the stretcher. Imagine it's straight. And we've got our nut there. This is not coming apart. So the slot there is for alignment. So it slots there for alignment, so say you get it twisted like that, you can get a screwdriver in to get it straight, so you don't have to grab both sides of it. In this example, because it's so small, it's actually a little bit easier to grab both sides of it. Now I mentioned that this was 25.7 millimeters or 1 inch, which means that it won't fit into a hole that is 25 millimeters. It's too big. So I can either buy a 1 inch bit, which I don't have, or a 26 millimeter bit, which I also don't have. So this is a little bit oversized, but it's what I've got at the moment. So I'm not sure whether I should go for 1 inch or 26 millimeters. The little bit of extra clearance on this would be nice so that it doesn't have to be hammered in. I know it's not woodworking, I know it's quite a simple project, but it's one I need to get done. So thanks for watching.